Moments ago, the Ways and Means Committee, we voted to release over 700 pages of additional material provided to the committee by two IRS whistleblowers, Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler, who came forward at great risk to their careers and reputations to bring to light evidence of corruption and misconduct within our federal government. On June 22nd, the committee voted to release the initial testimony of the two IRS whistleblowers that showed wrongdoing and misconduct at both the Department of Justice and the IRS. Their testimony then also shed light on a complex and lucrative enterprise operated by the Biden family to enrich themselves to the tune of at least $20 million, with much of Hunter Biden's share going unreported for taxes. In the months since, no one has offered any evidence that contradicts Mr. Shapley and Mr. Ziegler's testimony. In fact, much of their testimony has been supported by additional IRS witnesses who set for transcribed interviews after being subpoenaed by this committee. The new information we just voted to release today further confirms their testimony. Let's look at what the new evidence released today shows. 1. It is clear that then Vice President Joe Biden's political power and influence was, quote, the brand that Hunter Biden was selling all over the world. Even more alarming, the Biden family foreign influence peddling operation suggests an effort to sway U.S. policy decisions. From documents released just moments ago, as you can see in the WhatsApp message behind me from June 6, 2017, Hunter Biden explicitly wrote to a business associate that he was not willing to, quote, sign over my family's brand, close quote, or give this individual, quote, the keys to my family's only asset. That asset could only be one person, Joe Biden. IRS investigators provided worksheets they compiled as part of their investigation into Hunter Biden's tax crimes, which connect his business activities to official government activity while Joe Biden served as Vice President of the United States. This is new and alarming material the committee just made public. The very existence of this file makes it abundantly clear that IRS investigators were concerned there was in fact a connection between Hunter Biden's global influence peddling, Joe Biden, and official U.S. government activity. In one example, investigators documented how then Vice President Biden's April 2014 official visit to Ukraine occurred only days after a series of meetings between Hunter Biden, his business associate Devin Archer, senior staff within the Vice President's office, and Vice President Biden himself. We have received an email sent during that same time frame from an executive of Burisma, a Ukrainian company, to Devin Archer, saying a, quote, reasonable balance could be reached about Hunter Biden. 1 month later, Burisma announced Hunter Biden's appointment to its board. In another example from today's material, then Vice President Joe Biden hosted Hunter and two of his business associates, including billionaire Miguel Alemán, at the White House in February of 2014, where they had lunch, quote, in Dad's office. Just 3 months later, Hunter Biden sent an email to Devin Archer saying, quote, we need to get to Mexico City and cement the deal with Miguel. Public records show Joe Biden later used Air Force Two to shuttle Hunter and another business associate, Jeff Cooper, to Mexico City in 2016. These documents also underline how Hunter Biden's role as, quote, door opener extended far beyond his father and includes numerous other meetings between Hunter Biden and senior U.S. government officials, including now Secretary of State Antony Blinken. 2, the evidence today shows the complexity and scale of the Biden family influence peddling scheme. Millions of dollars were flowing through subsidiaries and LLCs to avoid taxes and shield visibility into how the money from foreign sources, including countries like Ukraine, Russia, China, went to different entities and Biden family members. The additional whistleblower documents we just released specifically mentioned 23 foreign countries on 4 different continents with connections to Hunter Biden's business operations. The map behind me shows the sheer scale and scope of this global operation. Lastly, in the whistleblower's original testimony, we learned DOJ took unprecedented action to impede any investigative step that could have led investigators to President Joe Biden. As you can see here in this new material, the whistleblowers have provided an email in support of their earlier testimony where U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf directs investigators to remove all mentions of, quote, political figure 1 from a search warrant. And who is political figure 1? I would think you would ask. That individual is none other than former Vice President Joe Biden. Here we see clear as day that the Department of Justice actively interfered in an investigation to protect the current president of the United States. Additionally, in January of 2022, Attorney Wolf declined to pursue campaign finance violations identified by investigators potentially related to more than $2 million in payments from Kevin Morris, a Democrat Party donor, to cover Hunter Biden's unpaid tax liabilities. In the documents we voted to release today, U.S. Attorney Wolf stated she, quote, is not personally interested in following the lead the investigators identified. Another piece of evidence implicating Joe Biden, and in this case, his presidential campaign, stopped dead in its tracks. In an interview with investigators, James Biden, the president's brother, stated that he did not know how Hunter Biden even knew Kevin Morris, who was paying Hunter Biden's taxes, or why Kevin Morris was helping Hunter Biden. The transcript of the interview contained in today's materials shows that James Biden told investigators Hunter Biden asked him to thank Mr. Morris for his payment, quote, on behalf of the family. It is reasonable to ask who requested that Kevin Morris cover Hunter Biden's tax liability, or whether he received something in return for his more than $2 million in payments to someone that he barely knew. Based on this evidence and much more in the documents we voted to release today, along with evidence obtained by the Judiciary Committee and the Oversight Committee, I have serious concerns about whether the President of the United States, Joe Biden, may be compromised by his son's foreign business dealings. I also have serious concerns about whether the President may be using his administration to protect himself and his family from scrutiny. The American people, they have a right to know their elected representatives are not abusing public office to enrich themselves or their families. They also have a right to know if federal law enforcement agencies are holding the powerful and the politically connected to the same standard of justice as everyone else.